All right, so lots to do here. There's been a few things that I kind of did with the Google Keep. And instead of just showing the solution, I'm just going to reference the Google Keep and also build it in my book collector simultaneously. Is that the word? I think that's the word. So we finished all of the slides, done with all of them. And now I just want to go through the code and kind of implement some of the things that we did in the last video into my code. So I'll name those things out right now. So when we put somebody, let's just say lorem, and we enter, we get our book. But one thing that I want to happen is that when I click the done button, I want it to be done. And then when I click the edit button, I want to be able to open this modal. By default, it just opens everywhere, but I want to hit this button called edit to open this modal right here. And I also want to delete. So one thing that I want to do before I get started here, I want to go to the edit modal real quick. So here's the edit modal, and I want to change the background color to white. Or one thing I could actually do here instead is just leave that one here and do a new one. So now when we edit, it'll be white. Another thing, I want to take my edit book modal content. Does it need that much padding? I don't think it does. I want to see how much padding is in my original. Let's go to add book modal. That's just the button here. Working with pop-ups. So border radius, of course. No, that's the form. That's the form items. Those are the forms. Where's the biggest div? I think it's this one right here. Yeah, it's this one right here. So, oh, I don't even have a padding on there. Whatever. We'll just make the padding a little bit smaller. One thing we also did do though that I want to do real quick is we grabbed the form, right? The input, and we gave the input a padding of 1. So, man, this is probably the worst way to do it, but this project is all over the place and I've learned so much. So it's like, it's fine, but there's a lot of spaghetti code in this. Let me just make sure this is working. It's not grabbing that. Oh, because we're trying to grab the button. That's definitely not what we're trying to do. We are trying to get the edit book modal dot edit book modal input. So, and then the background color, we want to say purple. So yeah, that's how we grab that. So we're just going to give it a padding of 1M. And that actually might not be the best. Now looking at it, it actually looks a bit better like this, but it looks better like this on that one. And these don't have to be the same size. So I guess I can do that. Another thing, like I went over the other video, we can edit, and when we click close, it goes ahead and edits it for us. And I like this close button, but I want to know if I can make this maybe even smaller. I feel like I could make that a little bit smaller, so that it could match better. So we can say the max height is 280, 50, 40. No, I don't think that looks great. I think we could do something else. We could add some padding, right? So we can say padding 1M, make it a little bit more equal, but I don't really like that either. I guess we can just leave it. I just didn't like how this left some space here. Um, yeah, I didn't really like how how that leaves space under here. Is this a whole different container? It's not. What container is this? Edit book modal content. It should be centered. Flex, justify, content, center, align items, center. It should be centered. Oh no, yeah, we don't want to do that. That's not what we want to do. I don't know why it's not centered though. So what if we say 100%? Okay, that centers it. Okay. So yeah, now there's, I guess, space. I don't know why I didn't just put the height of it to 100% by default. I must have, I don't know, I must have done it that way for a reason. I'm not really sure. Because like if we make it 50%, then it's not going to be centered at all. So yeah, I don't know why I did it that way, but I did. So, okay. I think I like that a little bit better. I still feel like the height could change, but I'm not going to try to be too picky because I want to actually get these features in here. So, lots of notes here also. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird coding with all these notes in the way, but I guess I'm just going to have to overcome this. So, one thing that we did, and the first thing that I want to do, maybe I want to change the color when I hit done. So, they did it a different way, but the way I want to do it is going to be a little bit different. So, I just want to click the done button, and then the modal turns like a light green color, or maybe like the same green color here. And one thing I want to see is that if that even looks good. I think I've tried it before. So if we go to our book.color, we have our color in here. We can grab the CSS. I didn't even have to go into my CSS page. Just go into app.js again. We can grab this right here. We can grab our RGB color, copy it here, and let's add a book. And we see that it changes the color, but I'm not sure if I like that. I'm not sure if I like that at all, actually. So I want to change it to a color. I want to change it to a color that lets the reader know that they're done with the book. And maybe even do like some like cool little animation. So like when they do it, like confetti falls down from the screen. I think that would be cool too. I've implemented that already into one of my projects as well, so I could just go reference that code. I think that looks decent though. I could even maybe go for a lighter green. I don't know, but that I guess just lets the reader know they're done with the book. We could change like the color of the book, but I don't think that's something very important to my app. I only want to know, let the user say, hey, I'm done with the book, or say, hey, let me edit, or say, that looks really weird now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, or just delete it. I don't need them to be able to change the colors, kind of how we did in the Google Keep. So that just means the code is going to be a little bit different. One thing that I can do here is the edit book modal. I can change the height of it, right? Make it smaller. And then the width, I can make that smaller too, right? Okay, I think that looks a little bit better, even though it's kind of overlapping. So let's see how that would look when we add another book. With that need, I don't know if that looks really bad. I don't think that looks particularly good though. I wonder if, let me see how they handled that actually. Because I don't think that looks great. Shoot. One thing that I included here, I'll just go to my own. Because one thing that I use super dark mode, so it's probably using super dark mode on this website Scrimba thing. I didn't know it was gonna jack up like that. That's just a Google Chrome extension that I'm using though. Let me try to just open it. That's Node.js. This is Google Keep. I'm gonna try to open it through here. And let me just see how they handled it. So when they wanted to edit, oh, that's delete. I forget. It moves it to the middle. Doesn't mine move it to the middle? It does move it to the middle. Does it like blur out the background though? I feel like it does. It adds like a background blur effect to the rest of the app. I wonder how I do that. Maybe that's what I should do first. So, how would I do that? That is a very good question, and we are going to try to figure it out. So what modal is this again? This is the edit book modal, right? Edit book modal. So we can go to edit book modal and maybe we can add, what if we just added something to the ID of outer body? So what if we just say outer body and then we can say background color of black? What would happen there? Background color of purple. It's already black. Oh, okay. So what if we said body background color white? Then the outer body wouldn't be white either. Okay. So that's the problem with the outer body that I added. I'm probably gonna have to come up with something to kind of just what if we say blur? Blur, or it's transform, right? Or is it transform? It's filter, blur, 1.2 rem. Oh, 1 rem. Okay, so that's really hurting my eyes right now. Okay, let's say what if we did it to the outer body? Okay. One thing, oh man, I feel like there's a way to do this. My brain is like, it's there. So I just need it to do that behind the, behind the apps. So what if I do the outer body blur z index negative 999 and then go to edit modal and make the z index 999? Would it bring it above? It wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Okay. So I need this to do something different. Hold on. Let's see if we did z index. I think this is the other way around. So yeah, that's not gonna work. Let me see. Oh shoot. We'll just take that out for now. So if I go to my edit book modal, it's right here. What if we say div dot blur? Div dot blur. So our dot blur, gonna have a filter of blur 1 rem. 1 rem. So if I add a test and we edit, oh, what the heck? So we say filter contrast 0, 1. Why does that move my whole thing though? That's what I'm trying to understand. Why does that move everything? What if I did the blur? Oh shoot. Which one is associated with that? I think I'll come back to it. It's not super important that we do that right now. I could obviously look at their CSS and see what they're doing. I think I might do that real quick just before I move on. So let's see here. So right here is their div with their modal content. They have a box shadow. That's their positioning, top, left, right, transform. And then this is their background color. If we get off of white, it's going to do something weird. Padding is going to not affect anything. But how do they do this to the background? I wonder. Opacity. Okay, that's weird. So open modal is setting opacity to 1, but that seems to do something to the whole screen. Or that's just the animation of it flicking in and out. That doesn't actually mean anything, does it? So the HTML body, that's the font size. Who is at my house? No idea. I think because what I was thinking is that we set it to our main body and then we do it. Let me see one more time. So we say the outer body filter blur 0.2 rems. I have to add rems. But what I was thinking is that I could like add the Z index here, and that if it was a perfect world, this would work. Too bad it's not a perfect world. Negative 99999. And then our edit book modal, I can do in Z index of 999. So that when I say test, when I say edit, this is not being affected. Another thing I've realized is that why isn't this like more here? Because that's more the center of the page. Justify content center. Did I add this to the wrong thing? I did. So this would have to be edit book modal right here. It already has it. Okay. Yeah, that's something that I noticed too. It's not in the center of the page. Okay. No, because the height 100 ph. Yeah, that wouldn't even go on there. Okay. That is weird. I can't figure that out right now, but when I do, I will make an update on it. And oh, it is actually in the center of the page. Okay. I'll find something for that later. In the meantime, I think what I can do is give it a border of like 1 pixel solid gray. So when we edit, it doesn't look too bad between like two different ones. So like if we add another book and we edit it, you can tell the difference. I think that's good enough for now. You can tell the difference between these two. You can see that it has the edit, but what I ideally want to do is blur the background. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure that out, and that's not what we were coming here to do today. So let's actually do what we're supposed to do today. As we can see in the app, these don't load up, but this brings up a little icon and it lets you change the color. And this deletes the note. So that's two features that I want to add. So how would we add those features? That is a great question. Before I even look at this, I know we're going to add a dataset ID. And the data ID is going to equal to, of course, the book ID that's connected to our object where we added the book. So now this is going to be a book ID, and then now we're going to give this a data ID. And what happens when we try to grab it with a regular ID is nothing happens, and that's the problem. So we're probably going to have to grab it with our data ID. So we also, if we look through here, there's also something we did. So there's delete note, which was an event, select note, which was an event, open modal, which was an event. Let's see what we did here. So body, and then we did a mouse over, right, on the event of close tooltip. But I think we did something even before that. So if we go to, what was it, open tooltip, I think that is the first thing we have to do. So open tooltip, we have to run that function from somewhere, and it's the mouse over event. So when we mouse over the body, we get the mouse over event, and then we get the event called this.open tooltip. So, and then this.open tooltip right here will run if the event target matches the dataset ID. They use the next element sibling, but we're not going to use that. So we can actually go to the end here because we're not going to use that at all. So let's go ahead and do that. So since we're not using the mouse over like them, I'm going to do something different because it is my app. We are going to actually say this dot, and what should we do first? Let's say, who's at my house right now? You know who's at my house right now. We're gonna do the done button. So we're gonna say this dot, what's a good name for it? I guess we can say finished book, and it's gonna be an event. So finished book is gonna be an event, and I think it can go under, I think it can go under select book, right? So this is going to be finished book. And what we're looking for is if we put one in, what we're looking for is the data ID of this done button right here, of this done button. So we're looking for that. And that's how we know that we're not clicking on on this. And the way we would find that, I think it's by just grabbing the data ID. Let me see how they did it in here one more time before I do it. We basically say if event dot target dot matches, and then if it matches what is the button for done, the done btn dot done btn, and we don't even have to use the if statement right now. We can obviously just do that, but we want to say const button. We'll put that in a variable now, and we'll console.log the button. So I think this should give us something in our console right now. Hopefully it does. If not, we have to go back. Let's add a book. That's saying false. So if we say done, it's true. So of course, we get our, is that from 159? Okay, that's from somewhere else. That was explaining the selected books children, so the HTML collection. So the only thing that matters right now is 280, and it comes in at true. So that is a very good thing. So now it actually knows that we're clicking on the done button, and that's what I wanted to do the whole time. Okay, so now we can do something cool with this. So we can go ahead and delete this. And basically we can say if not, so if not that, we can just return. So basically just do nothing. So if it's not that button, if it's not this done button, we're just going to return and do nothing. So now we can grab the dataset ID. And this is important because that's how we know which button we're clicking. So we can say the const, the ID is the event dot target. So we want to get the dataset.id, and the dataset.id is basically this data ID that we've been giving it to. So this book.id, and it lets us know which ID this button belongs to. So if we didn't have that, we don't know which done this done button belongs to. So like, let's say we have 2 books. And then, okay, if we have 2 books, how do we know which done button belongs to which book? And that's where the data ID comes in. It lets us know, hey, this done button belongs to book 1 and this done button belongs to book 2, right? So now that we have that, we have the ID, and then we can basically say, so this is delete. So we're not trying to delete. We're trying to get the note color. Or is this the delete button that we're doing? So no, it's finished book. So it's not. So this is the color one. So what we can do here instead, so the edit note color, we can say this dot books, and I think that's the name of our array. Yep, it's this dot books. We can say equals this dot books dot map. So what this is going to do is it's going to iterate over every single book that's in here, right? Because that's what the map method does. We're going to say book equals. So one thing we want to make sure is that we're grabbing the book by its correct ID. So the book.id has to equal to the this.id. So once we do that, the code that will run if it's true is a ... the book and then the color, else we'll just get back the book. So I don't think this is going to do anything yet. So edit note color, close tool, open modal. This isn't going to do anything just yet because how did we get this to open? We got this to open with the mouse over. Yeah, there's a lot of confusing aspects to this code, but I will figure it out. I think it would have been easier to start with the delete button. So you know what? I'm going to take this code over here and I'm going to try to do it with the delete button first. So we'll leave that here and we'll say delete book instead. And we'll name this complete book because that just, I don't know, it seems like it makes a little bit more sense. So if we go all the way up here, we can go back to a lot of scrolling. We can go back to our add event listener and we can say complete book. Let me make sure it matches what we changed the name to. Yep, it does. So we can say instead this dot delete book, and since it's an event, we can put it right here, and then delete book is going to take the instead of matches the done, it's going to match the delete, and then const ID, we're going to get the target, all of that, you know, fun jazzy stuff. So now we're going to filter over our array of books, and this is basically saying, so we're going to take this books, right, and we're going to equal it to this dot books, and we're going to use the filter method. So what the filter method is going to do is going to filter over all of our books. It's going to iterate over all of our books, and it's going to filter out the book based on a certain condition. And what that condition is that it's going to iterate over that book. And if the book.id, so that data set ID that we just grabbed from the delete button right here, if it's not equals to the ID, we're basically going to remove it. So, oh, that's not supposed to be like that. So if it's not equals to the ID of the event.target, we're going to remove it. I think I can show this better than I can explain it. So let's try to go here. Let's test. It's closed. We can say done. Another thing here, the reason why this is still popping up is because we need to remove that action from, where did we remove it from? It was up here, I think. It was somewhere over here. Form submit, handle, nope. Open tooltip. Okay, it was an open tooltip. So for us, it's going to be open edit modal because that's what we named it. Handle modal btn click. Add event listeners, so it wouldn't be there. Open edit modal. And what we can say here is that if not event dot target dot matches, and then we can say dot, was it delete button? I think it was delete button. Delete btn. Was that the class 2? Delete btn return. So this is the action on the open edit modal. Let's see what this does. So done. So now it won't open. But another thing is that it also just doesn't work. So if we click anywhere else, it should work. So the edit, the delete. Oh, what? So this should be the opposite. If event.target matches the delete button, then just return. Don't do anything. So we should be able to click anywhere on the screen and it should work. Should work. Yep. Even if we click done and edit, but when we click delete, nothing happens, right? And that's what we want happening. But also our button just doesn't work. So we need to fix that. So open modal event. So if the event target matches the toolbar delete, then return. So that's the same thing here. If the event matches over here, then we just want to return and not run the rest of this function as we seen there. So now we can go back down, right? Because it actually doesn't delete the note, and that's what we want happening. So we can go back to delete note, and then here we can go back to delete note, and then here delete book, sorry. Oh, we didn't even specify that it's an event. So there would have been no way to even know whether or not it's an event because we didn't specify it. And are we even specifying these? I feel like we're not, and maybe that's what's causing some of the issues in my app. So yep, that's an event. Clear input values. Isn't that supposed to be an event as well? Edit note. Close modal is an event. Close form, open form. Dang, I really just realized that I may not even know the huge difference between putting it as an event or not. So delete. Delete still doesn't work. Yeah, I just realized that. Close event modal, open event modal. None of these are triggered as events. Close edit modal. So yeah, that's weird actually, now that I'm noticing that. So handle modal btn click. So does that have to be stored with the event handler? Because the other ones aren't. which is weird. Like the handle form click is an event, but it's because we're using an event, right? It's an actual event. So handle, yeah, that's an event. So open form isn't an event. So yeah, these don't have to be events. Open modal is an event. So the open edit modal is an event, right? It should be event.target. So that's, yeah, that's an event. So anything that has an event in it should be an event. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, everything that has an event in it should be an event. So, yep, we're filtering back to that. So we'll go to delete note here. So that's an event, of course, because we have the event here. I'm just brain farting because I've been coding all freaking day. So yeah, it's pretty late and I've just been coding all day, so I can't even think straight. Okay, so that's why it wasn't working, because we didn't convert this into a number. So by default, the ID is going to be string, so we have to convert it to number. And when we do that, hopefully this works. If not, we'll try something else. So when we press delete, let me see if it's even doing anything. So alert, delete btn clicked. So let's see if it's even doing anything. Delete btn clicked. So it is. It is indeed doing something. And then I do have it up here, right, in my constructor, my add event listener, which is inside of my, not inside of my constructor. Maybe that's why it's not working. Yeah, maybe that's why it's not working. Hold on. So we have delete book, which is an event. We have complete book, which is also an event. Open modal, which is also an event. So, okay, so the events are all the things that are events up here in our add event listener. So like open modal is not up here, so it doesn't have to be prepended with the event or postpended, however you want to say that. So when clicking on the modal pop-up, add event. So is there one here for the delete button? So this dot color tooltip. Did we grab it from the DOM? We did grab it from the DOM. Color tooltip. But I think the color tooltip is actually coming from a different file, right? Color tooltip is coming from here. Yeah, color tooltip is a modal that we created earlier. So that doesn't solve the problem here. Okay, yeah, so that's not what we're trying to do. So the delete event is working. It's just not updating correctly. So delete. Oh my gosh, I forgot. So we have to stop the propagation. And the reason why is because this delete book event is running into other functions. So I think it's up here. I just looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, how did I forget that? So what stop propagation is doing, I think, is stopping it from running into these other events that are inside of the body document add event listener. So since it's at the bottom, I think it runs into these other ones. So we have to stop the propagation. And hopefully, I think that will stop propagation. Good thing I have this as a reference. This would be a complete mess. So TTT, we delete, and it still doesn't work. Okay. We're getting the ID correctly. We're saying if not event target matches, then return. So yeah, just return. Huh? Huh? How did that work? What did we just do? Are we sorcerers or something? How did that even work just then? Brother. Okay, that's weird. I don't know how that even worked. Okay, so let's see. Let's make sure we're doing everything right. So if it matches, delete btn return. If it doesn't match, delete button return. ID is going to be the event target, the data set of the ID. Of course, it's getting the event target from the matches button. This dot books equals this dot books. We're going to filter over each book, and if the book ID is not equals to the number ID, I don't think we're rendering it. We're not displaying the books. We're not displaying it after, so maybe it's deleting it, but it just isn't even appearing. Yeah, it wasn't appearing. So it really didn't matter. If we were console.logging all of these, hold on, let me explain this better. If we were console.logging the array of elements, what we'll notice is that it's deleting it from here, but it's not actually deleting it from the DOM because we're not displaying the books again. So we're not mapping over all of them. We're just removing it from the array, but then not iterating over the display books again. So now when we hit delete here, it works. So that's good. So we were able to figure that out. So now we have to do the complete book. Oh my gosh, me explaining things is nutty. So, okay, we also need the stop propagation. Remember that. And the reason why is that so it doesn't run into these other things here. And with the complete books, we want to do something really similar to delete book. And then we also want to say if not event dot target dot matches what is this again? Done btn? Done btn? Then we want to return. So it's basically saying if it's not that target, just don't run the rest of this function. Because if we run the rest of this function, we're going to run into a lot of issues here, like we already have. So yeah, okay, one more time. So it's basically saying if it's not this right here, if it's not the done btn, then just don't run the rest of this function. Because if we don't have this, like let's say delete, maybe we run into issues here. Let me see if I can cause an error real quick. Ah, shoot. So, we don't run into errors, but I'd imagine that like you will run into an error because if the event target is not ending here, if it's not matching the delete button, maybe you'll click somewhere else and like it'll delete your note and you're like, what the heck? So we're saying if it doesn't match that event target, then just don't do it. So, and if we console.log the ID, we'll see it should be false, false. Let me see. It's saying null because it doesn't exist yet, but saying it should be saying false, or it should say true. Oh, it's just gonna give me the ID of one. Hold on, that's not what I wanted to do. So we want to console.log the event dot target dot matches dot delete btn and true. Okay, so that's how we get true. But I want to see if we can get false just to show kind of how it's working. What the heck is going on? So I guess you can't do that. I wanted it because everything else would be false, right? Ideally. So like this is false because this isn't even the event target. All of it, this is false. This is false. This is false. All of this is false because it's not the event target. And right here, what's that code doing? 256. Okay, so that's just the selected book. So let me see. Okay, it's going to do that. So then it's going to open the event target closest to book. It's weird. 256. It's just giving us the event closest, target closest to book, which is the actual div itself. And then we can now delete our books, which is really good. We wanted to add that in there. And then now we want to change the color of the book. Okay, let's go back. I'm a little bit distracted here. So if it's not the done BTN returned, so we're going to say the const, the ID is the event target that matches the dataset ID. We can just reuse this. And then we're going to use some different code here. So our code here isn't going to be a filter method. I think it's going to be an if statement. So the edit note color. Oh, and this takes in color, right? Okay, hold on. The edit note color, what we want this to do is change the actual add book function. We want it to change this color of white to the color of light green. So what we can do here is say this dot books equals this dot books, and then we want to map over all of our books, or all of our books, and then each book is going to be called a book, and then we're basically going to say here if the book dot ID equals to the number of this dot ID, we could also just grab ID, right? Since we specified it right here. I believe so. We're going to say, if that's true, then we want to take dot 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 the book object. So that add book object, just book. And then we want to change the color to light green, right? Light green. But hold on, it's not going to work like that. I don't think this is going to work like that. And I'll explain why in a second. So it doesn't even let me do a string, actually. Okay, yeah, that wasn't going to work. This dot display books. So we need something given to this edit. We need to get this color from somewhere, right? So we need to get this color from somewhere. And where did we get it from the edit note color? Because we can't just get it out of nowhere. We have to get it from somewhere. So we're getting it from the edit. So const color dataset.color. Okay, I think I know now. So I think where we're getting it is if we go up here to our I think we're getting it from up here. So if we say this dot tooltip, color tooltip, add event listener, click event. Is there another way to do this? We're gonna try this way real quick. So boom. So our constructor here, I think we should grab the data right here. So we can say this dot done btn is going to equals to, but it's not a DOM element though. Crap. It's not a DOM element, it's a data ID. Yeah. Oh man, this is really weird. I guess this is why we figure it out ourselves. Time is it? Buddy. Okay, so we'll say this dot no. We need it to do something right here. Oh, crud. So we need to hit done. So delete. Let me see what delete does one more time. Maybe I need to stop using Scrimba's code. It's messing me up a little bit. So we're gonna say book. So color equals. Is that even possible to do? I don't think that's even code. That's not even possible to do. Okay. So we want to say complete book is an event. It's going to stop propagation, const the ID. So we also want to go up here into where we told the note if it's closest to done btn. Is it called right here? Done btn. If it's closest to done btn, then we want to return. So now if it's closest to done btn, nothing will happen. Edit btn, we'll get the edit. One thing I'll do here though is because we don't have to do that for the edit button, but at the same time I'm like, that's kind of janky though because the button doesn't actually work. So I don't know, maybe I'll consider making the button do something else. I mean, what other thing do I want to do though, other than saying, hey, the book is done, hey, we can edit the book or delete the book. So I'm going to say event.target.matches.edit btn. We're going to return because that button doesn't really work. So now it's not doing anything. So now we could actually make that button work. Even though I feel like it doesn't really even do anything. So let me say making sure the edit modal pop-up doesn't appear when we click either 3 of these buttons. We'll save that edit btn for later, but I think we could do this real quick. No, let's just focus on one task. Let's change the color first. So we go back down here. Let me make sure that this is running. Console.log, or we can say alert. You've completed your book. You've completed your book. What? Okay, that's janky. Why is that running on that? We're doing something wrong here. You've completed your book on complete book event, but that's not connected to anything. Oh, is that running into the propagation issue? Hold on. Is that because it's over event propagation? No, it's not. It's every time I click on the body. And that's because it runs when we click on the body, right? It's supposed to. But, oh man, I'm really messing up. Learning. We're learning. So complete book, delete book. Let's see what delete book is doing real quick. Come on. Delete book is running an event. Oh, because we're just alerting in general. So we're going to say if event dot target dot matches done btn alert, you've completed your book. So now it should not run until we say done. And it doesn't run there either, does it? Okay, that's funny. Weird piece of code. So what the heck? We can do this. We can move this over. This is for the done BTN. We can grab the ID of the book, saying if it matches the dataset ID. And then we can run complete book. Change color. And then down here, change color. It's going to alert you've complete your book. It's still not working. Display books. You've complete your book. But it's doing that for that one too. Okay, so that must be just something I'm doing wrong. Okay. So we're gonna stop propagation, stop it from running into anything. Event target matches done BTN. Is that the name of it? I'm just gonna double make sure that that is indeed the name of it. Not done BTN will return. ID is gonna be that. And then oh, I don't think it, yeah, I don't think it even knows which button it's clicking on. So I think instead we can say, filter. Maybe we can say if ID, if the book.id is equals to the number ID, then we can run the change color, this dot change color, which should alert. Ah, come on, why isn't it working? This dot change color. We have to use this every time we reference some method though. Yeah. If book ID if book ID alert click. Oh man, that's not working, but the delete button works for sure. How do we figure this one out? Okay, let's try to do something else here. So we have our, that's running up when we open the app. Change color. There's something here I'm doing not correctly. Body dot mouse over event is gonna open the tooltip. Tooltip, color tooltip, event, submit, modal close, close form, close, open tooltip event. So that's gonna open the tooltip. Add note, edit note color. Gonna take this dot notes. It's just not doing what I think it's gonna do though. Oh man. What if we did this? Just copy this code into here real quick. Let's see what we can get here. It should delete the note. It should do the same thing. It's not, but delete still works. So there's something that delete's doing that it's not doing. Okay. There's something that delete's doing that it's actually not doing. Because when we click done, nothing happens. So how did we wire delete? Let me just make sure. Okay, so done doesn't do what delete does. So the delete event, what else did I do with the delete event? So let's see, delete book event, event stop propagation. What else did we do with it? We had to do something different that I just forgot. Display books. This is for editing the note. It's for editing the note. If event.target is closest to book, then we want to do that. If the event matches, this is just making sure our book doesn't close on us, or it doesn't open this. When we click on edit, done, or delete, which is going to delete, keep modal open. These are older lines of code. Oh, that is weird. We should take that off. Dang it. I just refreshed the page. Try this again. So we have edit, delete, of course, is going to delete. So I'm not going to click that. Stop propagation on the modal, click up. This is open, edit modal, complete modal, and delete. That's, I think, the only thing we did. What the heck? It still deletes it. Buddy, what is going on? Why is that still working? That doesn't even exist anymore. Huh? That doesn't even exist anymore. Okay, that's weird. Select book. Delete mode, delete book. That's not even running anymore. I feel like it'll still run even if I take off this. That's how weird JavaScript is. This dot delete book is not a function. Yeah. Let me see here. It's the same exact code. Button, data ID, book.id, done, btn, class done, btn, done, edit, and delete. Okay. Oh, one thing that I missed here. Done btn, if it matches that. Okay, so now it actually works. Okay, that's weird. So instead of this code right here, we want to run a different function, right? We want to run complete change color just as a test. And of course, we're going to have to reference it with the this. And then change color here is going to say alert change color. Oh, it's working now. Okay, so that's going to say it's going to run this code. And it's going to say change the color, which is going to run this function right here. And what we want happening is that we want to iterate over the array, right? So we want to say if the ID, if the this.books ID, right? Or just the book ID is equals to the number ID, we want to alert match. So will we get that? No, book is not defined. I think this may need to go up here. Let me see. This needs to go up here. Book is not defined. Book, this dot books is going to filter the book ID because we're iterating over something. So we can't just get the ID from nothing. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, we can't just get the ID from nothing. So this is going to be a different method here. So we're going to say this dot books going to equals to this dot books dot map book, and then we're going to say book ID. If the book ID is equals to the number ID, we're going to run this code if it's true. We're going to say we have a match, else we're just going to say book, just return book. So now if we go here, should get match. Oh, well, we need to alert this, right? Alert that we have a match. We're not getting that alerted. Okay, maybe we need to run this constructor here because that's where we actually specify the ID. So now do this. We have a match. Okay, good. So, oh, buddy. So look, basically, I don't think it was able to access it because the const ID was put in here and not down here. So we're basically saying iterate over all of our books and map over them. So if the book ID where we're getting the ID from over here in add book, if it equals to what is it equal to? If it equals to the number ID, the ID that we're getting from the target data set that we just specified down here, we're going to run this code if it's true. So alert the match. Else, we're just going to return our book. So instead, what we want to do is we want to go into that object, right? And we want to spread in the object of book. And then we want to take the color of it, but we want to change the color. And that's what's getting me right now. I'm like, so how do I change the color? Okay, we want to change the color to something. I feel like there's a way, there's a way, there's a way, there's a way. There's a way. I'm trying to remember there's a way to do that. There's a way to do that. I just know there is. Update a value within an object. There's a way to do that. I can't remember it, but I learned it. Updating an object property. We don't have to push it. Ooh, okay. What about continue object? No, there's a way to do it. Oh man, this is gonna kill me if I can't find it. It's gonna kill me if I cannot find it. 4:30. Oh my gosh, it's been 30 minutes. Objects, merge objects, improve methods with arrow functions, merge objects with object spread. Object.assign, no. Key value pairs. Oof, dang, I don't have the implementation on any of these, do I? What happens when we spread four objects? Okay, code. I know there's a way, so we spread in. That's just spreading in another object, right? Verified false. Is it this? Is it color light green? I thought it was. This is exactly what this is, right? But that doesn't work. Hmm. How do we verify that? Color light green. That is how you do it though, right? So let me see what they did in Scrimba. So we're getting a new object. We're taking the color of that object, but the color is given to us through the event. Dang it. Oh man. I'm trying to think here. So we need to get the color of light green. Could we use a default parameter? Could we do that? By default, it's green if we don't have anything else. Hello? Hello world? Test, test, test. Oh, that would have been so sweet. But that should work though. It's weird. It should work because we're just getting the default parameter of color. Do we need event here? We do need event here. This is a little bit different. Note color. We're going to go into the books array. We're going to go into that book that we're iterating over. And then we're going to go into their color, right? So we're going to go to this property and we're going to switch it to light green, right? That's what I like to think. But that's not what JavaScript is doing for me right now. Okay. Ah, shoot. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Light green. So by default, it should be, let's say something like white. No, that's already white. Purple. Maybe I'm just spelling the color wrong. Ugh. So okay, one thing I need to do is take these off. So 265. I know what that's doing already. 260. So I'll keep this here. So done, edit, delete. We obviously know what delete is doing. It's filtering the book if it's not equal to the number. Filter books, book equals book ID. It's not equals to book. So anything that's not equal to the number of ID should be included and displayed. Are we just not running the display books? Is that what's happening here? So display books. Oh, hold on. Moment of truth. Oh my goodness. The moment of truth, baby. Dude, what? That's insanity. Come on now. Oh my goodness. Yes. So now, oh shoot. Oh, now we don't have code to like say, okay, if you haven't, ah, dang it. Wait, so should I toggle? Should I toggle? I don't know if I can toggle. Oh man, hold on. So by default, oh, once you change the color, you can't change it back. No. Oh no, 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 no. How long has it been since I started recording? I don't even know. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour. Okay. I'm going to leave this on this. So, I'm going to leave it at this note. We'll fix more of it. We were able to get it working. Uh I think that's good enough for now. So we hit done, we hit edit, and it doesn't do anything. So we'll fix that in the next. And then we hit delete, it'll delete the book. But the problem is, once you're done with the book, it's like, you're done forever. And we don't want that to happen. So we'll fix that in the next video.